Coming up on this week's episode of Unpick.
Listen, moments later.
Okay, I feel like you're throwing shade.
So I weren't like hyping myself. I weren't not in a deep way, but in my head, I wasn't like
what? Do you think that London is tapped?
Yes.
What is wrong with black people in London? Like, what is it?
Black people in London are stush. Wagwan peeps, it's Venom, what you saying? Alongside my home slice, damn me to the zane. When she and I get together on the poddy, ask anybody, the vibes are insane.
Join our family and feel free to come by. Be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yeah.
New drop on the way every Monday at 6.
Tune in and come see what we unpick. I'm recording. Again, this is recording number 2.
Take 2.
Listen, guys, we already been at it doing technical difficulties and IT for an hour.
Yo, we are
bringing you an episode today.
But listen, I always say, like, my God is a mighty God, and He said you guys are gonna give these people an episode, so we're here, okay?
We're here.
He gave Venom a solution. Well, I believe he gave Venom a solution. Otherwise, we would have been like, yeah, we're missing a week. We can't deal.
Yeah,
because it's been a tough. You said it's been a tough week for you. It's been a tough month. It's been a tough month for me. Like, what's going on behind the scenes in my life, in my personal life?
Yeah.
Life is lifing right now. Like, life is hitting me.
BTSing.
Yo. I don't even want to talk about me, because I don't want to start crying on this podcast. It's a lot. You. But like you said, your week has been tough. Like, what's been going
tough.
on?
You know, I came to the realization this week that I'm like in transition, if you know what I mean.
Okay, what do you mean?
Yeah, I'm not turning from a him to a her, but I'm transitioning to, like, this is what my future is, this is what my present is, and I'm not trying to be where the present is. So I'm moving, and the journey has been constant, but I just became conscious that, oh snap, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, you know, and it's been tough because it hit me just almost like overnight, and I woke up, I was like unprepared. So it's been tough, proper tough.
So has the transition happened this week, or do you feel like this is part of the change that is to come?
Yeah, literally. The change is all ahead of me. I just became aware that, oh snap, we have to change. Like, this ain't it.
Can I tell you something?
Go for it.
So last year, okay, so for the newbies listening, thank you for stumbling across this video and deciding to click play. Real quick, my name's Dami Zane. Hey, hello, hi. Home Slice. My co-host is Venom.
Hey, it's good peeps.
Right. We are a weekly podcast. We like to delve into the overlooked and underappreciated topics in our culture. And each week we will share unique and fascinating stories and opinions that you may or may not find anywhere else, but they don't do it like us, because we keep it real, okay? And something that I say in almost every episode now, for those who are new, is talk about my faith. And last year, I had a really difficult start to 2022 as well. So a breakup happened and then things are just going downhill, and then halfway through the year things seem to be looking up, and the whole time we just carried on doing the podcast as we do, because this podcast has almost become like a place for me to not think about my life. It's like I don't know how to put it.
It's a box, but it's a freedom box.
It's a box where I'm free, but it's a space where I get to put my issues to the side whilst the camera is rolling. And just be in the moment with my podcast bestie. And then when the cameras go off, I might have a little cry and tell him what's going on, and he might give me some advice and vice versa. Although he doesn't cry in front of me, I've never seen him cry. But that's how we do it. That's how we do it. Yeah. But the reason why I've said all of that is because last year I got a word. Because I pray a lot, and I've spoken in the past about my spiritual awareness. So I got a word, which I believe came from God, to say that 2023 is a year of change. And my friends who may or may not be listening to this, if you're listening to this, you're probably rolling your eyes at this point because you're like, she's always talking about this. Last year, I spoke a lot about change, like with my friends who are also part of the faith that I follow. And we were like, yeah, like there seems to be a season of change for everyone. And then I thought that change had already like pretty much come to fruition at the start of the year for me. And I thought, yeah, I've started the year in a new season.
Yeah.
Everything's great. And then very quickly things started crashing down. But I still have that sense of 2023 is a year of change. And the more that things have been going on in the last 2 months, like January and Feb, the more I'm like, okay, all these things that are happening, it's to prepare me for something to come. And that thing that is to come is still in 2023. So I think it's so interesting that you, without me even, I don't think I've even shared that with you before, this whole 2023 is a year of change. I've never said that to you before. I only really used to talk about it with my friends who are also Christian, because they understand when I say, oh, I got a message and this is what God is saying to me. I feel comfortable discussing that with them because they believe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the fact that you just said now that, oh yeah, like change, it's a reoccurring theme that I have been feeling in my heart, and I feel that God has been telling me for the best part of the latter half of last year, definitely in the latter half of last year, even all the way now that my life is pretty much falling apart outside of the podcast. Well, it's not, I'm being dramatic. but
things is happening, yeah.
Things are moving and shaking.
You're not falling apart.
I'm not falling apart. It's forcing me to stretch and change, and it means that I'm just going to be propelled into something else. So, yeah, I find it interesting that you feel like that's the season that you're in, and I just want to give you a word of 100%. Encouragement without even talking about my faith, but a word of encouragement that there is no breakthrough without a break. Like,
yeah, no, I'm here for it.
There is no breakthrough without a break. So like you need to be stretched, and you need to be like almost, you can't appreciate the up if you've not been down in it. Like it just is what it is. So like whatever it is, without giving me details, and obviously you can talk to me about it off camera, but whatever it is that you're dealing with right now, and you're feeling a sense of, okay, a change needs to happen and stuff is going on. Now sometimes I think that like we're put in situations where we have no choice but to make a move, because we're so comfortable being we're comfortable. I even said the word already. We like being comfortable. So sometimes certain things are brought to your attention to force you to make a change. It could be the littlest of things. Like 2 weeks ago, just to bring it to like our podcast, like 2 weeks ago, I had a tripod, guys, that was on its last legs. I thought, I'm just gonna keep it. It's fine. It broke on us literally 5 minutes before I was about to start recording.
Yeah.
And we had to do the whole, okay, there is no way around it, because as well as that happening, I still tried to do a workaround. And then in doing the workaround, Toby decided to choose some other part of the equipment, which meant we couldn't record at all. So I had to then go out of my way and just buy the new one, something that I'd been trying to avoid for so long.
Yeah.
It was almost like, sis, just
that's
do
the
it.
thing. Sometimes you want to avoid it. So sometimes we say no.
Exactly. So sometimes we're put in these really sticky situations because it's like you're forced to make a change, or it's preparing you for something. So I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's a preparation thing, or if it's a forcing you to move thing, or both. Like I know for me it's both.
It's both.
For me it's both.
Both.
But yeah, just some words of encouragement there that like,
thank you 100%, man.
You get what I'm trying to say without me being preachy, without me even bringing.
That's exactly what it is.
But that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I've been saying, middle of next year I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and making small steps towards making it happen, but not something concrete where you have no way of not doing it, if you know what I mean. And then life just came and said,
"You're gonna do it now."
Nah, you have to do it. Like you must.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I know that when I get to the other side of what I'm dealing with at the moment, it would have been for the better. Whatever
it's always for the better.
I will look back and be like, right, that was a hard time. But you know what? Yeah, before that, I was settling for okay.
Exactly.
So it's good that I'm dealing with this now. So yeah, man. Oh, look at us in the same season. Oh, a little bit of Christian faith there.
A little bit of synchronicity.
A little bit of synchronicity, a little bit of spirituality there, whatever way you want to take it. But yeah, I didn't even want to start like preaching Bible verses and stuff. But no, I hear it. I do hear it. And I've had that. As soon as you said change, I was like, rah, like, is this God talking to me as well now? Because I heard you the first time.
He just came to me late because I'm not in the church, innit? So it was like, he forgot me, not low key.
God
forgot
never,
me, but it was like,
God never forgets
snap.
you. God never forgets
like,
you.
Oh, I didn't reach out to Venom because he didn't go to that mass.
It's not that.
Like, yeah, no, I went there.
It's not that. God doesn't forget you. God just talks to you in a way that you will understand.
Yeah.
So
he said, "Now that's what I understand right now." Oh, now, okay, cool.
Yeah, literally. But anyway, guys. Welcome to Unpicked. Welcome to Unpicked, where two podcast besties come and talk sense or nonsensical stuff. Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah. Sometimes, even if they are wrong. Wicked and bad and wicked.
Wicked and bad and wicked. But
only to turn back on the words.
Listen,
moments later.
Okay, I feel like you're throwing shade. But if there's one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to recognize where I've been wrong, and I'm big and bad enough to be like, you know what? My views on that have changed. I've come to my senses. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing about me. I'm not afraid to say sorry, and I have good self-awareness. I reflect, and I'm like, you know what? You could have been a bit better with that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we do over here. We're not wrong and strong. That's one thing about us.
Definitely not. Yeah,
we're not wrong and strong. Maybe psychedelic.
Unless we still believe it.
If I still believe it, I still believe it. Sorry, it just means that the wisdom hasn't come to me yet.
I'm like, nah, I still believe that.
But that's what makes our podcast entertaining. That's why people come back. Okay, so it's fine.
So.
Anyway, if you're new here, get ready for an interesting show. Those of you that have come back, thank you so much for continuing. To support us. We appreciate you so much. Whilst you're here, if you haven't already, please, the QR code for our Instagram is on the screen. Please, you know what to do. Follow the ting. It's that simple. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and interact with the content so that we know what we need to give you more of. Anyway, intros and all that palaver, we can move on.
It's done. It's game time. Every week we do a little game, little icebreaker thing. This season it's called Game Time. It's a series of 5 multiple choice questions that one host asks the other host. Today I'm the host asking. Dami is the host in the hot seat. She's going to answer the questions correctly. The points will be on the screen. I'm currently losing. Dami's currently winning.
By 1 point.
You know. Oh, no, but this is the correction. This is the same games this week, right? Because you're 1 game behind me. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
You're losing by 1 point, but she's got the opportunity to get 5 more points today. So we'll see. Dami, are you ready?
I was born ready.
All right. You say so, yeah? Question 1.
Yeah.
Which black male celebrity comedian recently had their first comedy show in Egypt cancelled due to their views?
Kevin Hart.
That's correct.
Thank you.
The answer is C, Kevin Hart. I won't give you the other comedians. I said she's either seen this or she hasn't. Okay. Question 2. According to OK Magazine, 2 sizable artists have declined the king's coronation this year. So the king has requested that some artists perform at his coronation this year. 2 of them have declined. So you want the right combination of 2. I haven't made it tricky and given you the same names.
Oh, okay.
Is the answer A, Sam Smith and Ellie Goulding? Is the answer B, Adele and Ed Sheeran? Or is the answer C, Elton John and Dua Lipa?
I think
Remember, these are people that declined, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's B.
Adele and Ed Sheeran.
I think I heard somewhere about that because of their solidarity with the I know the reason for it was something to do with this, with the solidarity with the, is it the black community or something like that? I think. I could be wrong. I'm just guessing, but I think it was them.
The answer is B. I was gonna say, what is Sam Smith not standing with the black community now?
No, they are. They are. Yeah. So, well, Sam Smith.
John, not for the blacks.
Sam Smith right now is about their own agenda. Elton John, I've not really heard anything about Elton John this year. That's how I was like, I don't think it's them. Ed Sheeran.
Oh, Elton John's not a them. It's a he.
No. I know that. But I said I've not heard anything about Elton John this year. Whereas with Sam Smith, I think Sam Smith has their own agenda.
I know. I was just playing on the
trying
words
to trip me
said.
up. Yeah. Trying to.
You said I haven't heard anything about them. I was like, no, it's not them. It's a him.
The way my heart is beating. Anyway, question 3.
Sorry, I can't. I should take it more serious.
Oh God, yeah.
Cool. Question 3. Recently, Drake was ordered to appear in court to sit for a deposition in a case regarding the murder of which music artist? Is it A, XXXTentacion? Is it B, Takeoff? Or is it C, Pop Smoke?
It's A.
You're gonna say it?
XXX, the rest of the name.
Yeah, that's correct. That's the first time you answered. I didn't say the answer, boy. It's A.
It's A. I just couldn't.
And what is A? Cool.
It's A.
That is correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got 3 for 3 so far.
Woo, stress.
You're gonna clean it out. You're gonna keep a white sheet. Let's see.
Let's not jinx it.
Question 4.
Uh-huh.
Theresa Coffey, the UK's environmental minister, suggested that we eat what specific veg to ease the food shortage?
Okay.
Is it A, radishes? Is it B, parsnips? Or is it C, turnips?
I haven't got a clue, so I'm just gonna guess. What were the options? What were the options again? A child of God.
Hey,
I don't do juju.
Whenever she starts talking about this child, sorry, I'm just gonna guess. Yeah, this is where she always gets it right. She does any black magic off camera that you can't see it, I can't see it, but I know it's happening.
That is so.
I know it's happening, and then all of a sudden, it's the correct answer every time. Right.
I have a feeling, but
you want to hear them again?
I want to hear them again.
Cool. So is it A, radishes, B, parsnips, or C, turnips?
I think it's radish. I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, parsnip.
No, it's turnips.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to let that one go.
It's okay. It's the least exciting. I just wanted something that was.
I hadn't even heard about it, so I was like, "Boy,
there's no veg in the supermarkets right now."
I know that certain supermarkets. If you'd asked me about the supermarkets that are like putting a restriction
ration
per person,
thing.
I could have answered anything about that, but I didn't know. Like, I didn't even know that people still ate turnips. I didn't even know you could. Anyway, let's just move on.
Exactly. This woman's out here like, just eat turnips. Work harder.
Do you know what I was thinking? Money. I was thinking, what veg have I heard about this like recently?
It's recently,
and it was none of them. So I was just like,
I was expecting you to get this one because it's on Twitter. It's trending on Twitter.
But I don't go on Twitter anymore because Twitter is a toxic place. And remember, I told you that I'm going to reduce my time on social media.
So, I didn't disbelieve you. I just thought maybe you might have just seen it. Okay.
Nah. Question 5.
Question 5. This one's a tricky one, man. This one is. I think you would be interested in it, but I don't know if you know.
Go on.
I'll give it to you.
Hit me.
In March, in just a couple of days, or it might even have happened already by the time this comes out, Music Soul Child will be releasing a brand new album. Who is the producer he collaborated with to create this project? Is it A, Robert Glasper? Is it B, Hit Boy? Or is it C, Brian Michael Cox? Whole album, one producer, brand new music.
I'm only going to go for A because I don't know any of the others.
Oh no. It's B, Hit Boy.
That's okay.
Are you a music fan?
Not really.
See, I wasn't sure, but when I didn't see a reaction, I was like, oh, she doesn't care about music like that. Why not? I literally love this guy. Like, can't get enough.
I used to, and then I don't know. I just stopped listening to him.
Fair.
Also,
I'm upset, though. I'm a bit upset.
No, sorry.
Aww. It's alright.
No, do you know what it is? It's because I used to taking the piss. Do you know what it is? It's because I'll be honest. I stopped following who the producers were on projects a long time ago. So
I don't actually follow. It's because
I was never gonna get that right.
No, it's because he's been promoting it. I follow him on Instagram, and he's been promoting it. But he's been promoting it with that as like the tagline, like, "Oh, Hit Boy, me and Hit Boy." No. Where I wouldn't know who produced any of his other albums, but he's been like, "Yeah, I'm working with Hit Boy and I'm dropping an album, blah blah blah." Hit Boy. I was like, "Okay."
I better find out. I need to find out what other projects Hit Boy has done then, because
he's done the King's Disease 1 and 2 and 3 with Nas. He's got loads of singles. I can't think of loads of the singles.
There
and then
you go.
There was a
That's
black guy back in the
why...
day. No, there was a black guy back in the day, R&B, maybe about 5-10 years ago, called Luke James. Sick tunes with.
I'll tell you
Hit
what,
Boy.
yeah, I only know the bait producers.
That's why I put Brian Michael Cox. You know Brian Michael Cox? Oh no, you know another big Cox joint. Come on, all of Destiny's Child and Brandy.
I thought that was Dark Child.
That's Brian Michael Cox. I think that's his other name.
Oh, okay. So if you said Dark Child,
I was gonna, and then I was like,
no, because you're trying to do trickery.
No, because he goes by both. Because you hear on the start of a song another big Cox joint. Sometimes you hear
Dark Child.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, I hear with 2 names. All right.
All right, that's cool. 4 out of 5. Do you think you can do it?
I've done it once.
You better pray. You better hope and pray that the questions I give you. Pray. That's right. The questions I give you are not tricky.
I didn't think mine were tricky. It was just the last 2 were just unfortunate.
That 4th one was rude. What has that got to do with black culture?
I mean, parsnips. You know what I mean? Turnips and that.
All right, let's move on.
You never had turnip stew? Yeah, so I don't know what event it was now. It was one of these award shows. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head which event. BAFTAs, Grammys, some kind of celebration of secular entertainment. Anyway, Busta Rhymes was there, Trevor Noah, all the celebs you'd expect. Now, either leaving the venue or going to the airport, a fan has seen Busta Rhymes and they're trying to get his attention so that they can take a picture of him. But he's obviously walking with an entourage. So they've passed her, and so she's reached for him, and the only grabbable bit was his bum. So she squeezed his bum. Man turned around, dashed water or whatever he was drinking all over her. And people are like, who was in the wrong here?
She shouldn't have pinched his bum.
I mean, not pinched, but that's where she grabbed. Like she
shouldn't have grabbed his bum.
And No old man like that.
No one. Let's flip it. Let's flip the script. Yeah.
It's true.
If it was a woman and the guy grabbed her bum, what do you think people?
Mariah Carey try and catch a picture and she's walking by and it.
What do you think people would say?
They began mad.
Thank you.
Yeah, he went mad. He just dashed the water so quick. So quick.
She shouldn't have touched his bum.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have touched his bum.
It's sad times. But this is what happens, man. People, boundaries, innit? People don't understand.
Yeah, I mean,
when you become a celebrity, you become a thing. And you lose your humanity almost.
I hear it, but I also think that's the case for some women as well that aren't even celebrities.
What,
I've had a group of boys coming. I was getting on a bus, and these group of boys were coming off the bus. And as I was getting on, they literally slapped my bum.
Hey.
It was so embarrassing, and the bus driver was looking at me like I was trash. And I was thinking, no one on this bus wants to like say anything
To the guys that
just assaulted me. So I think sometimes women are seen as objects as well by whoever it is that finds them attractive, not just celebs. That's why I said flip the script, because even if it wasn't a celebrity, it was just a random woman that happened to, and that was her reaction. People would support it, that yeah, she did the right thing, because why did they touch her bum? Whether he is Busta Rhymes, a celeb, or a man, doesn't matter. His privacy was
intruded.
His body was touched like, people need to learn about personal space. Like, you didn't have to touch him to grab his attention at all. And if you're calling him and he don't hear you, then he don't hear you and you move on.
You're not heard. Yeah.
That's it. That's pretty much it. It's not on. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I almost grabbed my favorite rapper's attention, but he didn't hear me. And that's your story. Not I touched him without permission, no matter where on his body. I'm one of those people. I'm very funny about people touching me unprovoked. Like, don't touch my shoulder. Don't tap me. Don't touch me. I don't want you to touch me. It's like, unless we have that sort of rapport, meaning I know who you are, we're cool, and like, because it's weird because I'm a touchy-feely person
I am as well, and that's why I'm trying to really understand, where do I sit on this? I don't,
Nah, but like, for example, even when we first met, I was very careful around, do I just automatically go in for a hug or nah? Like, it's because I understand personal space and boundaries. Plus, he's a taken man, innit? And I ain't trying to have no beef with nobody. So then I pretty much mirrored your body language. And same thing.
I think that's
and
the
same thing with
well,
the missus. Yeah, and the same thing with the missus. But like, we know each other already. If we were strangers when we met and you tried to come in for a hug, it would have been a very awkward one. Because I would have been like, okay, I guess I have to now. I don't really want you to touch me.
I don't know.
If we're cool, if I'm cool with you, you've already built a rapport. Yeah, you can laugh, you can tap me on the shoulder, you can you know when people laugh and they touch you and no problem. Yeah. If I don't know you, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
I'm very aware of the physical nature of people. I remember there's this girl that I met at a social, like a really open social gathering of friends, but I didn't know her. And I didn't notice until that moment that she was actually attracted to me, because she was very like nonchalant, chill, whatever. And then we were up in front of everyone doing bants and all of this, playing games and stuff. The way she started laughing and clambering on me, I was like, oh, because I'm very aware of body language, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But outside of like social scenarios, I don't think I have come touch me energy. If I'm honest, I think people who are interacting with me can know that I'm open. I'm
there's
very
boundary.
free.
Yeah.
But I think just normal socially, I think I don't have touch me energy.
I think I do. even though I don't. So
Yeah,
I
even though
think
it's not what you want. Yeah.
because I'm a very open and free person, I guess, like you, but I get at the same time I'm also quite a flirty person, and because I'm a flirty person, I think people just assume that, oh yeah, she's fair game, especially men. But then I also realize with guys, if they're attracted to me, they think she's fair game, whether I'm flirting or
So
not.
like projection.
They're just like, I want to touch her, and then they try and touch me, and then when I give them the look, it's like, oh, my
Can
bad.
we see the look? Damn. Do you know what's? Do you know?
It's a very, I'm not impressed.
Do you know what's the painful part of that one though? It's slow. I didn't. That's why I asked, because I wasn't sure if it was gonna be a snap but that, I think that would be more crushing if I was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, and then put your hand on their hand maybe, and they just get a slow look up.
I'm very,
Like,
me, for me, I'm about timing. You've probably clocked
everything's
this from
about
work.
timing, man.
No, you've
Everything's
probably
about
clocked this
timing.
from even working with me. That I'm about timing, the way I talk, how I drop my jokes, my one-liners, what I say when I say it, dramatic pauses, and etc. Like, I'm all about timing. So I know that if I time the look in that way, because it's not instant, it means that you've got time to really think about what you did, and it's even more embarrassing. So I do it for effect.
Yeah, that would be highly embarrassing.
Especially when they it's not like, I remember I went on a first date with some guy, and he thought that because I agreed to go on the date with him in the first place, that he could try and there's a way you are around someone you've just met, and then there's a way you are with someone that you've been with for a long time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like with your missus, when you go out, you might automatically take her hand and hold it, or she might automatically link arms with you, or you'll feel no way to put your hand on the small of her back and maybe a bit lower to the booty, right? But that's because you guys are comfortable with each other. You understand each other's bodies. Yeah. So, it makes sense. It's natural. This guy was doing, I'm going to put my hand on the small of your back. I'm going to touch your bum within 5 minutes of meeting me. First time. And when I flinched, and gave him he goes, oh, are you not comfortable? For damn right I'm not comfortable. What do you mean? You don't know who I am. Did I even...
What is your last name?
What's my last name?
Exactly. Tell me, please. How about you want to be touching this?
I agreed to come out to figure out if there's a rapport between us, to figure out if I'm even attracted to you in that way. That's the whole point.
You're already doing too much.
And you've gone 10 steps ahead. I took minus points off him on the scoreboard for that one. And that was the first and last date that we had, because I was like, he's fast.
Has anyone ever been in a situation like that where you've deducted points, so they've gone into the minus, but actually made it back?
Made it back?
Yeah.
Not me. Not I.
Never.
Not me.
I kind of feel like I can tell when I've made a bad move in a dating scenario. But off rip, can't think of any, because anything that I've been successful with, I kind of ignore the parts where I went wrong, the missteps beforehand.
Yeah, you don't really think about it. When it's going good, you don't think about it.
When it ends up good, you don't think about
it.
But
when it's going bad, you're like, oh man, I could have. That bit was a bit of a.
Yeah, dang.
I
remember I went to link this girl. This girl was on me.
Yeah.
I went to link her. She said, "Yeah, come link me. I'm at uni, so come to my uni. Stay over."
Was you in uni as well?
Whatever. I was in uni, but not hers.
Okay, the reason why I'm clarifying is I'm just making you lot know that he's not an older guy.
Oh. going to unis.
pursuing these young girls. I just want to make that clear.
No,
Like,
this is
everything we do is above board. Okay,
yeah, we keep it up.
we keep it.
No,
we
this
keep
is-
it. Okay, cool. Go on.
Yeah, I was at scandalous age, and I went to college with this girl.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I knew
Yeah.
she was interested, but nothing happened. Cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
Now she's at uni with that age, and she's like, "Yeah, come round." I said, "Come round, come." So in my
You
mind,
said, "Oh, we're gonna sit down. We're
yeah,
gonna
I'm
do
like, this is in the bag.
Yes,
Let me tell you, boy. I journeyed to this girl's uni.
Jenny.
Met her at the yeah, because it's like all bus and train and them thing. Like, man weren't even driving. I started driving late anyway, but so now she's met me at the station. We're taking the bus back to her dorms and that. And from when we're on the bus, I'm like, I'm not feeling the energy, you know. I don't know how
she
to
was
turn
with
this
you.
around.
She was with you on the bus. Okay.
Yeah.
What was
and
the
I'm already-
energy? Because I'm trying to imagine it. So was it like from when she said hi to you, you said hi to her, or did you say something? Was there a turning point? Was the
No,
energy
there
on and then it
weren't.
turned off, or
Do you know
the
what?
vibe just wasn't?
I think that in her head,
Mm.
she had maybe like fantasized about me, maybe too much. To the point where the real thing was actually not as good as whatever was going on.
But
in her head.
you guys had met before, right?
Yeah. But it'd been a while. It had been a while.
Okay. So she probably imagined what you were like at that time.
Yeah,
And maybe
like, hyped
added
it up.
spice. And then when she's met you, it's like, oh,
The ginger weren't gingering.
it's not the same. Okay.
This is the only
I've
on
been
reflection
there.
can I get to this, because I'm like,
I've been there.
bruv, because she weren't paying, so I weren't like hyping myself. I weren't not in a deep way, but in my head, I wasn't like, oh my god, like she's gonna be.
Pause. He said it with ease. He said she weren't paying.
Yeah, I'd reached that stage where I was like, look, if it ain't a fail, it's a pass.
Girl,
we are rocking and rolling.
Girl, if you happen to be watching this,
Sure.
okay, but just in case, innit? To him, you weren't. No, to him, you weren't.
To
paying.
me.
To him, you weren't paying. He weren't the one anyway.
To me, exactly.
Because you weren't feeling him either. You get it?
You did the right thing. You get me? You
Your intuition was right.
You didn't waste the whole body on me. Understand?
Yeah. Period.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I weren't hyping it in my head. My hype and my drive was like, oh, like we had good chemistry. Let's see. Like it would just be a fun experience. This is what it was presented as, kind of, without us either saying, yeah, we're gonna do this. No one said that. But I'm I'm assuming by the fact that you want me to come down to your uni and stay the night in your dorm that you would like certain things to happen. It's an assumption. So yeah, from time we meet on a bus, I'm just like, I'm not feeling the energy, but we'll see. Maybe she's not into the public display like that. We'll see when we get back to the dorm. Get back to the dorm. Just chilling, vibes and messing around, talking and that. Then it's getting nearer to their bedtime, but she's not really trying to get any closer.
Okay, she's not giving you the signs that she's open.
She's not saying come and be all over me.
Yeah.
In any capacity. I'm like, okay, cool. Then it's getting even later, and now it's like time to go to sleep. Man's thinking, okay, well, maybe when we're in the bed, I'll see what I got.
Okay, you still had hope.
She was like, nah, G. She was like, nah, you ain't sleeping in the bed. I was like, what? Oh, what?
Oh, no. Couch.
How did you invite me all the way down here to sleep on the floor? God damn. I said, okay, cool. But then the next day was even more weird, because the next day, when I tell you we went all about the town, like shopping, socializing, like just being friends, I was like, this is weird.
She friend-zoned you.
But, yeah, we're already friends.
No, she friend-zoned you. Like she was like,
she was like,
he's my friend.
We ain't doing this.
Yeah, we ain't.
Yeah.
Have I ever? Okay, when I was younger, I was very naive.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in uni, I was very naive. I had a lot of male friends, And I had a couple of male friends that would like not couple of male friends. One of my male friends used to sleep over all the time. Like I used to braid his hair.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do his cane rows for him, and he'd sleep over. We'd sleep in the same bed.
Hey,
I know.
not naughty.
Nothing would really go down.
Really, nothing would really.
Yeah, nothing would really go down. Like we wouldn't kiss or anything, but let's say like
a big spoon and a little spoon.
Yeah, that situation. I'd always be the little spoon.
You'd always be the little spoon. Mm.
And then there was another friend who I used to stay at his, and we would watch movies. His boys would come round. We'd watch like films and talk and gist and laugh and cook and eat. And then it'd be too late for me to go back to my dorm. So I'll just sleep over. Nothing would happen. Not even little spoon, big spoon. Right? And I just thought...
sleeping arrangement then? Just two straight
No.
bodies?
Like I would sleep facing the wall and he would sleep on the outside of the beds facing the other way. Or if he was facing my way, so it's like bum to bum rather than like, yeah. And if he turned over, there would still be space. Like I felt like he respected me. But hear me out. Because it used to happen all the time. I used to think we're just friends. He was a year above. When he was leaving uni, the one that I used to go and stay at his, he came and he told me, he was like, "Damn, do you know how much?" He goes, "You don't know how much restraint."
Yeah.
I had to, like, he's like, "You don't understand the restraint that I put myself through in them times I used to sleep over. Like, you don't understand." And I'm like, you know what? Thank you for that. Because I just saw it as, oh, that's my boy. It's nothing. Do you get it?
It is
and
nothing
then the one
until you're in that scenario. And then it's like...
And then it's like, oh, this is what it is. Yeah. He was like, nah, because especially because I definitely find you really attractive. So it was difficult for me to not act on that. And I was like, nah, you're a real one. You're actually my friend because you didn't try anything. Legit. The one that used to sleep at mine, nothing, like I said, nothing really happened. There might be a bit of a spooning situation.
He just let you feel it. Yeah, he did let you feel it.
What do you mean let me
He just let you feel it, man. We all know what's going down. When someone's okay,
okay. Yeah, in that way, no hands or nothing, just in that way, like cuddles.
No.
Yeah, obviously, and
you only your hands when you got the
because I was a virgin my whole university experience as well, so I guess that adds to the fact that I was very naive, very lucky. Because if these guys were on something different, it would have been a different story. But no, we were legit just friends, and I think after a while, I started to feel something for him. But then I was like, he slept with one of my friends, and then I was like, yeah, that's done. That's dead in the water.
There comes a point in time where you're like, you will judge the class or character of a woman, and any man that associates himself with that woman, they just get that judgment too. You're like, oh, damn, you went there.
I don't know if that was what I was thinking at the time, because remember, I was quite young. I was more thinking, I know who she is. In terms of like, we're not friends, but we're acquaintances enough. We live together. So if me and this guy get into anything, the girl that I live with has been there before. She's been there, innit? And yeah. So I just kept him firmly in the friend zone after that. And it's weird because there was definitely chemistry between us. Like, I think, and I could be wrong, we've never spoken about it since then. And I won't go back and talk to him about it because we've lost touch, one. I mean, we still talk every now and again. But he's got a whole family now, if that makes sense. I would never bring it up. But at the time, I definitely felt like he was attracted to me and I was attracted to him, but we just never went there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because he was trying to respect me because he knew me on a friendship level, one. And two, he knew I was a virgin. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he just thought, you know what, we're cool. I'm just going to keep it as it is, if that makes sense. But we've always had love for each other.
I think the virgin thing is definitely played
a big part in why he didn't. I
think so, man.
Yeah.
Because there was a girl that I had a massive crush on, and she had a crush on me, and we were friends, and we kind of like did a similar sounding dance to what you did without the spooning.
Don't say it like that.
Without me making her feel it. every once in a while at night. But yeah, we had our own version of that. It went on for time. And then there came a time actually where she had decided in her head, yeah, you know what? We're going to do this. And I was like, whoa, really? Yeah, okay. So we left from a party and went back to mine, and I'm thinking, oh my days, this is gonna be wild, because like our chemistry was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a perfect chemistry. We were like always fighting, but we were friends. So it was kind of like, oh snap, it's a good kind of chemistry. But I can't remember how she told me or when she told. I think she might have told me like in the moment, but like we were obviously kissing and doing all of the pre stuff,
Pre-game.
and then she like dropped it that she was a virgin, and I was like, I can't beat you. Like, I'm a demon. I can't do this. Can't be your first time, because I'm not trying to stay, and you know that. Like, I can't do that.
Was it more? Okay, was it more because you knew that it wasn't gonna be like a relationship situation? It was just gonna be sex.
It was a combination.
And you didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah, like,
or was it more? I'm experienced, and what I'm feeling to do to you. No, hear me out. What I'm feeling to do to you, I don't know if you can hack it, because this is going to be your first time.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's not that. It's more the case of like, if you're someone's first, you're immortalized, and the act is immortalized. The reasons, everything, and I had too much love and respect for that girl for that to be the scenario of me being immortalized as her first, because there had been a time where I did fancy her, and it could have been a relationship, and even if it failed, that doesn't matter. But I didn't want her immortalized version of me to be the demon version of me, because there was gonna be no love. Like, it was just gonna be smash, and I'm gonna smash the next thing tomorrow.
But this is what I'm saying. Really, so it was more of what I said first. It was more, oh, I know it's not going to be it's not going to be a situation whereby you're going to look back at it and feel like, oh, it was worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it would have cost us our relationship to a degree. Because I can still speak to this girl now, and I don't feel like we would be able, I mean, yeah, like you say, you know, you lose touch with friends and stuff because of life. But I know that if I wanted to be close to her, we could be close, because we still have the great relationship that we had.
Yeah.
But I think that would have tainted it.
The reason why I brought up my naivety is because when I was younger, if a guy, like when any of my guy friends or any guy would come round to mine, sex wasn't on my mind. I just thought we're cool. Do you know what I mean? And just speaking back to your story about that girl that you went to visit at another uni, and it wasn't that time, I could definitely see that being something that would have happened to me. Like, I'm talking to one of my boys where, and like I said, I've come to learn as I got older that I'm flirty. So I would just be doing me, and he'd be thinking, yeah, it's on. And sometimes I have like inappropriate jokes, and I talk about sex a lot, and I've always been like that. And then he'd be thinking, yeah. And then he comes and it's not. And then he's like, this girl is a tease. You know what I mean? But like in my adult life, just speaking back to what we were talking about before around like, have you ever like gone on a date or whatever, and someone's got minus points, and could they build it back up and stuff? The only time, first of all, I tend to only go on dates with guys that I think are really attractive. So there's no, I've built up who he is in my mind. I know exactly what he looks like by the time we go on our date. Because we probably met in person, or even if it was like a you jumped in my DM situation, we would have done FaceTime, we would have done like we would have had a way to like, for me to see you without seeing you in real life. The only time it's ever happened to me where I've built someone up in my mind was probably when I tried my hand very temporarily at online dating, and someone said that they were a certain height, for example.
Mm-mm.
And then I meet them and yeah.
You're like, sir.
I was like, you're up to my boob. Okay, exaggeration. You're my height. And that was an issue for me. So that was the end of that. But like, yeah, normally I can gauge the vibe, and the vibe will be such a way that when I do meet you, it's not really changed. So it's okay. I've got a question for you, Venom. We live in London, UK, right? And I've pretty much lived here all my life. Even went to uni around these bits as well, right? Around this city. And yeah, I'm firmly a London girl, yeah? And we spoke a bit about Chris Brown last week. We spoke a lot about Chris Brown last week. Now, Chris Brown dropped I can't remember if it was a tweet or a story on his socials, and he was like basically saying how girls from up north were more fun.
Birmingham, yeah.
Were more fun than girls from London. And a lot of guys were reacting to that and basically confirming that, the guys up in Birms are where it's at. They're more attractive, they're more fun, they're more cool. And yeah, the girls in London, tumbleweed. Yeah. Now, the question I wanted to kind of bring to our podcast today was, do you think that London is tapped?
Yes.
Why?
Immediately, yes.
Why?
So the why is a trickier one. I guess it's by meeting people who are not from London that I'm like, yeah, London's tapped. Because
okay, let's go.
The girls are definitely different outside of London. Way more sociable, like way more friendly. Maybe it was because I'm from London. Maybe it's because they're just more sociable. But I met a girl from Nottingham one time. That was a night I'll probably never forget ever, because it was a mad night, but just such good vibes as well, considering we started the night as strangers, left like fully acquainted. I went down to Bristol and met some peeps when my boys were doing a show in Bristol. I went to see them do the show, and then we ended up socializing up there, like raving and that. It was a sick night. Like when I tell you everybody took man in, like banter. And you just don't get received like that in London. Everyone's so to themselves and so cliquey. Yeah. London's proper tapped. Everyone's too clicked up in London. I think that's my issue.
I think that London is tapped. I agree it's tapped. But I've got a whole host of other reasons.
Let's hear some of them.
So, like, I think to begin with, I think everyone in London is stush.
Yeah.
I think everyone in London are so, like, more about image than anywhere else. I mean, I've been to other parts of the country. And I think the culture outside of London is a lot more laid back, a lot more friendly, a lot more community based. Whereas in London, I feel like it's very much everyone's
about I. Everybody is about I.
I think it's to do with the corporate world as well, to be honest. I think it's to do with the fact that London's very hustle and bustle. Also, there's a lot more types of communities in London in a very concentrated place. And so I feel like that in a way perpetuates cliquey behavior. So like Nigerians sticking together or West Africans sticking together, and then the rest of the continent sticking together. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, or
I hear you. I don't know.
Europeans sticking together.
I agree with that.
And I feel like in London, it's people, because there's so many different types of communities, people seek out their own, one. Two, because of the fact that it's it's the busiest city in the UK. So when you look at it from an economic standpoint, in terms of like the working world, the job market, most people are in industries that are very like 9 to 5 type.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot more. There's a lot more than anywhere else. And I think because it's the major city, it's like people have this idea that they're better than everyone else, everywhere else in the country. And so that manifests itself in how people treat each other on a day-to-day. London's a lot more busier. So again, like if you just look at the commute to work, for example, back when we were commuting to work a lot more, people were just like, I don't want to talk to no one. Don't talk to me. Like everyone just looks gloomy and sad and upset and stuff. So I think all of that plays a part in why I think London is tapped. But if I was to be specific about the Black community in London now, that's that plus more. Like there's layers to this, innit? Like there's
bare layers.
Yeah. So I know the question's broad, but I do want to take it into our community, the Black community specifically, or ethnic minority, or ethnic minorities, if you want to broaden it out a bit more. Like, what do you think are the issues that we're dealing with here
What's
in
the
London
problem with Black people in London?
What is wrong with Black people in London? Thank you. Like, what is it?
Black people in London are stush. They're stush, and we're a community. I think I might have said this before, but we're a community without leadership. Like a broad umbrella is placed over us. Whether you're from the Caribbean, small island, big island, whether you're from Africa, however many different countries, we're all Black people. But there's no leadership, so there's no direction. So everyone's doing their own thing, as demonstrated by maybe their community or the culture of the country that they come from, or the influence from the diaspora, whatever it is. But there is no leadership. So you're sectioned and you're in a group. So you look at another Black person, you think that they're your kin, but then also they're, being influenced by completely different motives. And I think it's a top-down thing, man. I think because there's no top-down guidance, leadership, uniformity, you're just dealing with a broad... Because the difference is, and it is kind of in a macro way, because you're saying that London is like a hustle and bustle. So you have a lot more people in a small area. So you're less likely to keep bumping into the same people over and over again. Whereas outside of London, you have the same kind of mix of people, assuming, but they frequent each other more. So they're able to build up a community like organically. Whereas I think everything that we do here and we build here in London is very inorganic and very economic. Like, oh, there's a community around this show, and there's a community around this scene. There's a community around all these things that actually they're consumer-led, not just social or not just community-based.
I hear you.
Even a carnival, everybody goes carnival to have a good time, but... And I get, loads of other cultures come in, but it's a predominantly Black affair. But, like, when else do Black people meet not to spend money on a specific thing?
Do you know, I hear what you're saying, but the reason why I'm a bit like, I'm not sure is because even if we look at back in the day, before social media is what it is now, Black people had community, yes, but there was still some division. And I feel like London has always been that place that people just brand as being stush. Because back in the day when we were playing outside and actually have a community with each other, that's when we had most of the postcode wars. That's when it was like South versus North, North versus East, East versus West. Do you know what I mean? Like it was more...
It progressed into that. For
as far back as I can remember, there's been postcode wars, innit? All the way
I
into...
played out before postcode wars, boy.
All the way into... you're showing your age there, but like, I'm just saying for me... There's always been postcode wars. And yeah, I think when I look at the black community in particular, I don't know and I don't get why it's tapped. I do think social media has a huge part to play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like even standards of beauty now, yeah, bear with me, it's gonna sound like I'm going left, but just hear me out. Like, I feel like when I was younger, when you were like 16, you weren't expected to be wearing a bust down weave and lashes and a whole lot of makeup. You could literally just look like a 16-year-old, if you know what I mean, like braids. You don't have to wear much makeup. Like, you could just be a kid. Now, you've got a lot of young people acting like adults because social media has made them believe that that's how you're supposed to live. Like, it's given us like a standard of living or like an aesthetic that everyone's trying to attain. Or at least a type of aesthetic people are trying to attain. And so we've got young people not acting like young people and having a standard of life that was not expected of us when we were that age. And so I'm just trying to put my mind back to when I was 16. If I was expected to and felt pressured to live by the standards that have been set out for me by social media, I think I definitely would have been in my head, and I definitely would have thought that I was a bad bee, and I would have like prescribed to this whole like city girl, I think I'm the hot one, like no one could come step to me, no one can have chat for me, and all this business that we're seeing online now. And so I think social media has kind of like made people have a warped sense of who they are. And there's that element. And then there's things like TikTok. No, not TikTok, Twitter. I spoke about Twitter, not going on it anymore. This whole like black Twitter being a toxic place and people being judgmental and always having something to say, never saying anything positive. Everyone's follow on there as well, because if you don't fit into the norm as to what everyone else believes, then automatically you're like bullied into feeling like your opinion is different and wrong. Like 2 weeks ago, we put out a clip from one of our episodes where you let your imagination run wild and had an idea. You didn't say that's what the red boot was used for. You just said, this is where my imagination went. And fair enough, that clip wasn't the full clip as it was shown in the actual episode. It was like cut, to make it more short and snappy. But people were literally like, I believe I had to stop reading the comments because I thought people were being mean.
I mean,
and judgmental.
It was a combination of both, but I was like,
if you don't like if you don't like the idea, you don't have to take it an extra mile and start cussing. Like, there was comments about how we looked.
I didn't see ones about how we looked.
I don't even want you to go back and read it. But just know that some of the comments on there...
See, I've got my armor.
Hold on. Some of the comments on there were uncalled for, and I feel like TikTok's turning into Twitter, because that's how people were and have been on Twitter from early. Do you know what I mean? So I think social media has given people this sense of like, I can say what I want, I can do what I want, and I'm a bad bee, or I'm a high value man, or this rubbish. And people are walking around with this idea in their mind. And then a lot of the like influencers either move from out of London into London or already reside in London. A lot of the big names. And so I think that also might play a part as well around why people in London, specifically black people in London, feel like they're it. You know what I mean? And it's spreading out into all different aspects of our lives. Like, socially, going to the club in London is boring. I've stopped going because people don't enjoy themselves. People are too busy looking at each other and trying to decide like, oh, I want to look a certain type of way in front of everyone else, rather than just, I like to dance in it, rather than just, oh, I'm listening to the music and I'm enjoying it and I'm going to dance. So people are judging each other in that way. When you look at it from a dating perspective, everybody's guard is up. Everyone's trying to look a certain type of way or present a certain facade, and that's impacting how we date in London as well. So I'm just trying to figure out like, what are the elements at play that's leading London to become this antisocial place when it wasn't always like that? And for me, I think most of it stems from social media, but that's...
I think a great deal of it stems from social media, for sure. But the breakdown of community, I think it's the breakdown of community in the physical sense as well. Not living outside of London, I can't speak on what it feels like to live outside of London. But from a Londoner's perspective, looking out, it looks to me like the people have more of a sense of community in the physical, of like really being, living. And I guess they're not as mobile as well. Like I reckon, like, not to speak disrespectfully of people from Birmingham or to assume something, but I'm guessing like if you lived in a certain part of Birmingham and you grew up with people, like most of the people probably stayed there and lived there like most of their life and their family. And whereas London, it's like, oh, now I'm living in South and now I'm in East and my brethren, you know what I mean? Like no one's ever really situated somewhere unless they're poor. And then you're just in the council estate and you know what I mean? That's not really the same example of community. So I think, yeah, that lack of like having certain families live in certain areas and over time, that causes a breakdown in community as well.
Yeah.
And then I don't actually think there's a place where Black people live. Like in Stamford Hill, Hasidic Jews live there, like massive Hasidic Jew community. In Stoke Newton, massive Turkish community. In like East London, like near Mile End and all that, like massive Asian community.
That's
or
right.
Whitechapel, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I think Black people don't live in places a community.
You don't think like Peckham and Lewisham and all that place is there?
No,
you don't feel like there's a heavy Black influence in those areas?
I think there's a heavy Black influence, and I think that might be because of social housing or maybe historically, yeah, but I don't think there's a place where Black people have actively chosen to live. And especially not like an affluent place. Where Stamford Hill to me is more of an example of the affluent place, because those Jews bought homes and they built their community and built schools and in this area.
I think it's hard to place an exact like location. Like you can't say Stamford Hill.
I think we're just spread out.
I think
wherever there's housing, that's where we're at.
I do think South London is like a Black space, and I think the reason why people shout a lot about spaces becoming white or gentrified is because a lot of our Black spaces have been taken up. Like Hackney used to be Black. It's not anymore.
Yeah, they used. Do
you know what I mean?
It used to be minority white because there was always like a lot of other ethnicities.
Yeah, but there was a lot of Black people.
Yeah.
Same thing with Peckham. Same thing with Brixton. Woolwich. Like it was majority Black people that were around them places there, but then those places have been gentrified. So I hear that, but I do think South London. If they were like, what area do you think is like saturated with Black people? I would have said South London.
I think it's got a lot of Black people there, but
I still think so, because even like when I go up to like Croydon and them places there, the majority of people I see walking down the road are Black.
No,
them areas disagree. Are like heavy. Like those places are like mini Africas, like literally like mini Nigeria, mini Ghana, mini lie. So I don't know if I agree with you with that, but like no, but I hear it though to an extent. I just feel like London. I do think London's a tap place, and I was a bit sad to see that it's noticed by other places, because when Chris Brown made that comment on his socials, I think it was Taser Black, that reshared it on one of his platforms. I think it was Instagram, and then off the back of that, people did like TikToks and they showed Chris Brown at an after party, one of his after parties in Birmingham, and the vibe was lit. Everyone was dancing, singing along to his music and everything. And then they showed a clip of him of his after party in London, and people were standing around looking at
They
each
were just
other.
standing there.
No one was singing the
Even
music.
even
No one
even
was
when Chunks was on the mic singing, trying to
exactly.
get Chris Brown's attention. I was like, this is
Exactly.
dead.
It was so
It's so
boring.
showy.
Yeah, it
So
was all. It's
showy.
all image. It's all. We just want to look cute and stand around and stare at each other.
I just want to be seen
And
there at the thing.
I found that embarrassing. I was like, right, like, is this what London's become? Like, it's almost like everyone's an influencer here and everyone just wants to look nice and have their phone out and take pictures, but they don't want to be in the moment and enjoy themselves. And I went to the concert and literally, like, everyone around me were just on their phones. Me, I didn't take no footage. I was dancing my ass off. My cousin was in the venue as well, but she was opposite me. Because we didn't buy tickets at the same time, so she was on the other side. And in her videos, like, she was the one that was having fun. People around her were not vibing. Like, you might get a few of us dotted around that still do what we do, but then people look at you like, can you not chill? Like, where's your decorum? So I think London's very image based, but that's why, for me, I'm thinking, where does that come from? It must come from social media and the way that social media has moved forward. On top of
influence how people
of everything else that I spoke about when I said, London's already because it's a working hub place and everyone's very much like 9 to 5, got to get to where I get to, and everyone's like hustle and bustle and that mentality, and so people don't have time to say hi to each other and smile at each other and whatever. As if to say people don't work in other cities, but
no, I think it's that, but I think it's people don't have time to just enjoy things for what they are. So instead, they have to make sure that they capture that they were there, so that they can speak to the fact that they enjoyed it some other time.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to come back to the Black community conversation, but more specifically, like, I would love for us, maybe next week we should talk about this, like, just come back to the idea of, like, talking about the Black family, because I think that a bigger conversation in all of this is the home, and the Black family has taken a hit, and I feel like it's on a decline, and I don't know or see how it's going to be back on a rise again if we carry on the way that we're going in terms of the dating scene and just people's ideology around dating.
London specifically, or England?
We can go London, we can go broader, but in London I've seen it. Like, I'm seeing a lot of, like, the dating scene is in such a way that I think it's difficult for people to even get into a relationship and therefore start a family. People's ideas around family now and getting married and having kids, and there's a bigger conversation to be had around that. Sorry, my lashes irritate me. There's a bigger conversation to be had around that. I think we don't have time for it now because we can't broach two huge things at once.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the Black family,
the community. Yeah, I think there's the social media aspect, but I do think part of it isn't just, do Black people have a place to reside in the UK for them to have community, but how can you value community if your home is, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, community is an extension of the home.
Exactly. Sure. And if the Black home is broken right now and we're not seeing much community in that sense, in terms of like, oh, we want to come together and be in relationship with each other, then how can we expect unity in other areas of life? Because I do think that sort of, that relation, everything's interlinked. The sociologist in me is like thinking about how everything interlinks and how one thing, like a domino effect, affects something else. And I do think that it's not a coincidence that London, the dating scene is crap, the social scene is crap, and then likewise, Black family is at risk.
Yeah.
I was really embarrassed. I saw the footage. I was like, oh, man.
You ain't even got to show me footage. I know. Because like I was saying, when I went Bristol, the way we was turning up was second to none. I felt like I was on holiday when we were partying.
See?
It felt like we was on holiday because we were all going in. The banter was bantering. Even the jokes we were having, we were laughing to the point where, like I say, I spoke to this girl because I found her quite attractive. And I was like, you know what? I think, she gave me a number and all that. And she didn't give me a number like, oh, yeah. Like, I didn't approach her on like, oh, I think you're paying. Like, give me a number like so we can do this. It was more like, she was just open to just have a relationship, and then you know what I mean. I'll talk to her and see where I would talk to her and see where it goes. Like she was just like, yeah, you're Bants. Like let's stay connected. I know you're not from here, so I did, and we talked for years.
Because I definitely
like
I walk around thinking that everyone is like me, and I shouldn't, but I do. Yeah. And it wasn't till recently when I started talking to like this guy, and we were talking about like certain topics, and I was like relaying my thoughts around it or how I would approach certain things. And we'll go into this in more detail when we have that Black family conversation next week. And he was like, rah, like that's not what other people are saying, like that's not how. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure there's other girls that think this way. I feel like Black men are exaggerating when they say that Black girls are tapped in this country, blah blah blah, or that Black girls are tapped in London. I'm like, no, definitely there's other girls that think like this. He's like, Dammy, I'm a single man that's been dating for the best part of like the last 2-3 years. I can guarantee most girls are not thinking like that. Most of the girls I've spoken to, this is what they think. He goes, look at social media, what does it tell you? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what, you're right. To be fair, not to say that I'm one in a million, but there's not a lot of people that have a certain way of looking at things. They all follow this idea around dating and life that social media has told us to follow. And the moment you deviate from that, you get hate. But
yeah, very much.
So that's why I was like, there is a link there between Black family, Black dating in London, and how London in general is, if that makes sense. There's a link, and I think we might need to spend a bit more time talking about that next time.
No, for sure.
Because I want to pick your brain on it.
To talk about the Black family, because I've got my theories as always.
I bet you do. But
yeah, we can get stuck into that for sure.
Yeah, and I there were some things that I saw online that I think I won't bring up now. I'll wait till next week. That's related to this conversation. But yeah, okay, listen, guys, let us know in the comments what you think about London and why you think London is tapped. Do you think London's tapped? And if you do, why? Because it will be interesting to find out your opinions on this, because there's definitely a lot of things that we probably haven't even brought up. Because it's such a big topic, and we can always do a part 2 later on.
One bang, so we want to shout out, as we always do every week. We shout out someone who's followed us, someone who's left a comment that's a bit, or someone who said, yeah, shout me out. And this week, I want to shout out my boy Julian Justin. That's my doggy from primary school. We go all the way back to the sleepovers and that. Yeah, man followed us on the social. So I just want to say thank you very much, bro. Obviously, it's always love. He comes and checks me out with our DJ. He's my true G from long time. So yeah, always a pleasure to have you around, my bro. Anyone else want to join the family? You know what to do. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, send a DM, say, yo, I want you guys to shout me out, and we'll make it so. You get me?
You get me. And yeah, guys, the socials are in the description. Also, the QR code is on the screen right now for the Instagram. You know what to do. Get the camera out.
Do all the things.
Follow the link. The link is also in the description. Support the family. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, we'll see you next week. So until next time, peeps. Peace.
That is mad.
What an episode. We went from spirituality at the beginning all the way to London's tapped, bro.